Hello everyone, I am Anna Maria Minafra. I am an independent researcher and I am very happy to present my work. Although I'm very sorry, I cannot present in present. What I'm going to present today is part of a wider research project related to musician body self-awareness. The reason why I'm interested in this topic is because expert musicians seem to focus on conceptual issues such as interpretation rather than how their bodies engender that sound. Musicians perform movements involving all of their body physically, intellectually, and emotionally, but seem to use it in pre-reflective body self-awareness or performative awareness, which consists in performing intentional actions without involving a process in which the body or part of the body are identified as their own. Musicians seem to reduce their mental effort without thinking about what they are doing as they are doing it. This develops a habit of automatizing movements without thinking about the body parts involved in playing. From this perspective, a dissociation of mind from the body may be generated. Tension and pain experienced by many musicians may be generated by a lack of attention to movement and embodied self-awareness, which is the ability to pay attention to ourselves, to feel our sensations, emotions, and movements online in the present moment without the mediating influence of judgmental thoughts. So the follow research question want to explore how can professional musician body self-awareness be explored. So in order to address this issue, I adopted qualitative methods through semi-structured interviews applying the phenomenological method, observation carried out immediately after each interviews to field notes, and analyzing audio-video materials as each interview was video recorded. 22 professional musicians participated to the research. They were professional musicians and also teachers coming from various countries, as you can see, from Brazil, Greece, Czech Republic, the 3 pianists, 3 guitarists from Ireland and Italy, violin from Spain and Belgium, 2 viola players from Italy, and etc. So before the interview, I obtained musician-informed voluntary consent, and then I asked them to choose and prepare an easy, short, slow piece of music to be played from memory. The task I gave them was to explore their body self-awareness during the interview. So I carry out the task I ask them to perform the piece and then to verbalize their feeling after performing the piece, referring to their breathing, physical tensions, relaxation, touch, mood, and mental images. The analysis process was carried out in 2 steps. The first one, I watched and rewatching the video many times. Then I transcribed words, gesture, and body movements referring to playing. Then I combined the thematic analysis with interpretative phenomenological analysis and considering always verbal and non-verbal responses found in keywords, theme, and always related to body-mind relationship. So what I noticed is that musicians were aware. What I noticed was that musicians reacted to a state anxiety immediately after listening to the instruction task. This was related to 90 musicians mainly, and state anxiety is a response to a specific temporary event arousing anxiety at various levels. This was due by the fact that musicians had to expose themselves through playing from memory the piece of music to the interviewer, while also being videoed and then verbalize their feelings about their playing. Technical weakness in playing or emotional fragility could emerge, and as the musicians were being video recorded, there would be permanent evidence of that. Other musicians seems to self-reflect immediately after listening to the task and be focused on what they were going to playing, also slowing down their mental activity. So 19 musicians react in various ways. First of all, they seem to take time before playing, and their time was included between 14 seconds until 2-3 minutes. They seem also to need reassurance that was expressed through the request of being reassured or through self-reassurance, while other 3 musicians express self-reflection. 6 musicians asked, for example, some kind of permission. For example, guitar 3 asked if she could tune the instrument. And this was a kind of strategy that musicians seem to adopt for establishing their physical contact with their instrument and adapt to their environment. For example, violin 1, while sitting down and without listening or waiting for my answer, it just seemed to adapt while standing and touching his feet with the floor. This gesture allowed him to find the most comfortable position for perceiving his body at ease in space. Another strategy was asking reassurance from the interviewer that 8 musicians expressed. This was due by the fact that the musician seems to not know what to play, although they were required to, before the interview, to play a piece of music that they had to choose by themselves. Indeed, for example, Guitar 1 asked, "As any piece of music, anything at all?" Or after, he also asked, "Do you want I play it now?" Viola 1, for example, after repeating exactly the question I asked him, he said, "Okay, I will try. Let me think what to play." So I had to reassure him, suggesting what to play, for example, a prelude, the beginning of a slow sonata, etc. Another strategy that the musician adopted was self-reassuring. For example, 10 musicians spoke about the piece of music they were going to play. This strategy seems to help them to focus their attention on what they were going to play while directing their attention on the music and relieving their uneasiness. Piano 1, for example, seems to to speak better to herself what she was going to play. She said, "Are you asking what kind of music I will play now? Okay. At the moment, this piece is not classical. It's a piece from a movie. It's very calm, minimalist." Another strategy was repeating instruction for completing the task. The musician seemed to self-reassuring for calming their anxiety while repeating words such as few, short, calm. And these words seem to help them to embody the meaning, as Piano 1 said, just few bars, or Violin 3, very short, or Cello 2, very slow and short and calm. That's fine. So, two musicians self-assess. This kind of strategy could be adopted before playing because of a lack of self-efficacy in relation to the task. Musicians seemed to need to justify possible mistakes in advance. For example, Guitar 2 said, "It will be not good," and Cello 2, "I will try to see what will come out." So their nonverbal behavior also reveal their uneasiness or embarrassment. That is when the person becomes aware that they are the center of attention, feeling to be judged. Indeed, specific physical signals such as gaze aversion, shifty eyes, speech disturbances, face touches, and a nervous silly smile are manifested. Indeed, 19 musicians showed self-adapter gestures, which are subdivided in self-touching or object manipulation, and are used by people when feel distressed or embarrassment and try to adapt to the circumstance. Only the musician who show self-reflection look at the anti-interviewer. They didn't wait any time before playing and show affiliation smile. In order to indicate the absence or a strong presence of each specific nonverbal behavior, I develop a quantitative measurement scale, indicated by 1 the absence or strong presence, 5. After the task, the musician confirmed their mood, their state of anxiety, and expressed difficulties in reflecting and verbalizing their body feelings. And this was also showed by their nonverbal behavior. While the musician express relaxation and show this relaxation and this body awareness through a kind of thought that I defined as kinesthetic, and then I will go to explain. So 19 musicians who had difficulties in reflecting and verbalize their body feelings. From this 19 musicians, 8 musicians declared to feel anxious or tense. They appear to be unable to verbalize their feelings in detail, as if they did not have sufficient introspective competence to make explicit their mental state. Indeed, for example, Guitar 2 said, "I'm very nervous because I didn't know what to play." The same was for Viola 1, who admitted to be lost, but also recognized that the video camera generate anxiety in him, and the fact that a thing which remains fixed there. Indeed, the musician reported to feel anxious and not being relaxed due to the presence of the video camera. They seemed embarrassed and appeared as if they were not focused on their body feelings, which, nevertheless, remaining in the background, contributed to give the motion experience its specific quality. 6 musicians self-justified. This was another strategy that can occur when individuals feel discomfort related to a performance action which is dissonant with their beliefs, and they need to repair the self-concept. Guitar 2, for example, say, "But not really. I'm a person who manage the movement very well. My breath did not change, or almost. I tried, even when I have some difficulties." Viola 1 continues to show his looseness. He was completely lost. He alternated speaking with the present moment with some experience with something experienced in the past. For example, I was not able to be relaxed when I start playing something in my life. And then he say, more than the relaxation, winning the initial fear, because what is coming out from this instrument now, what I'm doing slowly, I come in the things. But in some sense, after he say, there is always some tension, absolutely, yes. And fight musician declared relaxation but concealed anxiety. According to Ekman, misleading is a way of concealing thoughts or emotion. For example, Piano 2 attempted to communicate positive feelings to hide her discomfort. Her nonverbal behavior and the fragmented nature of her responses indicated uneasiness. She started speaking about a piece of music, but all her nonverbal behavior manifested anxiety or uneasiness. She said that she felt calm, but it was not like that. She said that she was relaxed, but she was always smiling in an embarrassed way. Two musicians declare an awareness. For example, clarinet again starts speaking about a piece of music, but when he had to focus on his physical sensation, he declared, "For me, physically, I did not notice." The act of reflecting of the body for this musician seems to be unimportant. They initially avoided answering through directing attention to the way they played rather than focusing on their bodily sensation. They seem to have difficulties in slowing down their mental activity. This did not allow them to undertake an introspective process. These figures show how the musician felt embarrassed prior to and after performing the task. And for example, they increase looking around into space at various directions, or adopted or showed more self-adapters, or increase their embarrassed smile. The musicians who declared to be relaxed were three, and two of them showed some kinesthetic movement. They cannot separate the words from this kind of movement, were fundamental for describing their feeling. They revealed how they were aware about their body sensation. For example, Piano 3, while saying, I think she brought both hands at the base of the neck, always looking in front of them at some fixed point, appeared very concentrated on what she was saying. She specified, I feel relaxed, moving gently the ends at the neck base. Now more here, because I feel always touching her neck and shoulders, some kind, when I play, I feel like something slowly moving her left hand from the right shoulder to the elbow, and then until the end. So she also described that she was feeling something that dropped down to the floor from the shoulder to the base of her body. So this kind of movement that Johnson defined as kinesthetic movement generated multisensorial feedback, which appeared fundamental for formalizing musician thoughts. And this movement also showed the relationship that the musician had between body and mind when playing. To conclude, when listening to the task instruction, most of the musicians tried to reduce anxiety and rebalance their internal equilibrium, manifesting the need of reassurance. Their reaction suggests that some of them underestimate the stress of performing in the research setting, and that they were used to playing through performative awareness. This indicated that they were not used to self-reflecting on their movements, which had become automatized and were not controlled by explicit thought processes. Secondly, most of the musicians seemed unprepared to reflect and report on their body sensation. Most appeared to be unable to verbalize their feelings in detail, as if they did not have sufficient introspective competence to make explicit their mental state. This was another factor suggesting that they were used to play through performative awareness, having automatized the movement they needed in playing. Finally, the musicians who were able to describe their body feelings were assisted by the performing kinesthetic movements. Generating multisensorial feedback, these movements appeared essential for the musician in discovering their tensions. To conclude, the implication include the importance of training musicians in reflection-based practice so as to develop embodied self-awareness which could assist them in reducing tension and improving well-being when playing. Thank you so much for the attention, and here you can find also my references. Hello.